Well, it's a policy of sorts, PAW, pun intended. Policy, yes, new policy for your paw pets. If you are having dogs as pets at home, there's significant change that's staring at you in Bengaluru. The Greater Bengaluru Authority is working on a framework that could change the way residents manage pet dogs in the city. Chief Commissioner Maheshwar Rao has asked city commissioners to draft rules covering licensing, breed restrictions and limits on the number of dogs per household. Among the proposals, a cap of 3 dogs in independent houses. Possible restrictions on aggressive breeds like German Shepherds, Rottweilers and Dobermans in apartments. Exceptions for rescued, adopted or native Indian breeds subject to veterinary verification. Mandatory measures could include registrations and annual license renewal, microchipping and vaccination certificates, sterilization for dogs above 12 months unless medically exempt, leashing and cleaning up after pets in public spaces, fines for bylaw violations and procedures for seized or abandoned pets. Officials stress the aim is to balance public safety with animal welfare in line with the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960. But question on ground persists. Can the city set up a comprehensive database to track over 2 lakh dogs? Will licensing and enforcement actually prevent nuisance or stray dog issues will only increase? How will breed restrictions in apartments be monitored in shared spaces? The 5 city commissioners have been asked to consult residents and submit recommendations within a week. After that, the GBA will finalize the rules and propose them to the state government. On paper, Bengaluru's new pet dog rules look strict, but implementation will be key. Will Bengaluru be able to make these new pet rules work? Whether Bengaluru will accept these? Let's ask experts. But first, I'm being joined at this point by Satya Prakash Dubey. Satya Prakash Dubey is the husband of Shalini Kumari Dubey, who was mauled by a dog in Bengaluru. Satya Prakash, thank you so much for joining us. It must have been a very, very challenging days and months for you, for that matter, Satya Prakash. But a very simple question that I really want to start with. How is your wife doing?
Namaskar. Basically, she is fighting with n number of challenges. She is not well. She is physically, mentally facing severe challenges since this incident happens. On the morning of 26 January, during a normal morning walk, my wife became the victim of a brutal dog attack. She did nothing wrong. She did not provoke. She was simply walking on a public road. The dog was left without a leash and without muzzle. As a result of this negligence, my wife suffered severe injuries to her face, neck, head. She requires more than approximately 80 plus stitches. I hope this is clearly visible in this visuals. More than 10 days hospitalization. This attack has not only caused physical damage, but also deep psychological trauma. Doctors have clinically diagnosed her with post-traumatic stress disorder. She now lives with a fear, nightmares. She was worrying about going outside. And I can't explain this by words. Not only my wife is suffering, she is having 1 year, 5 months old daughter. You can imagine without mother how daughter survives in those periods. She was a very beautiful girl. And being a woman, you can understand what face value matters for a woman, for the confidence, for presenting ourselves in front of the society. And due to this negligent act by the pet owner, she will have a long life scars. She is having a long life trauma.
Satya Prakash,
And this is not,
Satya
yeah,
Prakash, if I can ask you, was this within the residential complex or was this far away from the residential complex as she was walking towards her house? Do we know?
yeah, it is in front of our house. Basically, she went for a morning walk. When she was returning, at that time, all of a sudden, they unleashed their dog and left on the street. And it is a public space. This is not a private property. And she went on a road, and all of a sudden, dog attacks. The biggest fact is that if pet owner was unable to handle that pet, that wild animal, then how can you think that any civilian can able to handle it? The man who is seeing this video, I hope you have clearly seen that he is not able to handle the dog. The size is so big, and
Satya,
it is a kind of
Satya,
open weapon to the society.
Satya, you know, it's so painful and it's unfortunate, and this could happen to anybody else. I want to ask you one question. Do you have pets at your home? Do you have relatives who have pets? Um,
Honestly speaking, this is not about the pet hatreds. This is
that's
about
why
the
I'm asking you this
responsibility and
question.
accountability.
Satya, I'm so glad you bring
I'm
that
not.
out. And I'm so glad you bring that out, and that's exactly why I ask you this question.
Yeah, because see, I'm not having any pet. That doesn't mean that I don't know the safety protocols. If you are having a pet, pet always comes with a joy, but
Absolutely.
parallelly, they come with a responsibility and the act of safety protocol,
Absolutely.
because you can't danger others' life with your
Satya, I
joyful
think you've given
moments.
such a reasoned answer. You could have taken any extreme answer when I asked you that question, and I risked asking you that question because I really wanted to understand your perspective on that, Satya Prakash. I think that was a very measured answer for you to come out in that, despite what you have gone through. Let me just get an Anirudh Ravindra at this point. Anirudh, and I'm also being joined by Akanksha Chawla. Thank you both of you for joining me. Anirudh Ravindra, let's just get to you first. You know, Satya joins us. You joined us a little late. So just to give you an introduction, Satya is, is married to a lovely woman who was bitten by a pet who was not managed on the streets
Yes,
properly.
yes,
And yet you have a very reasoned, measured answer from Satya.
definitely, definitely.
I think that needs to be really appreciated. But, you know, we just have to bring this out. A lot is being spoken about these laws. The point is the implementation, because if you have a pet, it's your responsibility that you handle the pet in a way that it's not a threat to anybody. Nobody can take that away from you. And there's no scope for a mistake, honestly, when it's a human life that's at the other end, a human life that would be bearing the brunt of it for the rest of the life.
Definitely. See, this is a pure negligence from the pet parent who has been handling that dog. With regards to Mr. Satya's case, what happened? We are very, very, hurt with what happened with this pet dog. This is not just an issue where we can just shrug it off saying that this is an animal issue or a human issue. This comes from the roots, the breeding, which happens in Bangalore. There are about 30,000 illegal breeders in Bangalore who are breeding these dogs for gain of money. They don't know the lineage. They don't know how to actually breed the dogs because there is no scientific proper way to do it. And everything has been discussed with ethical and non-ethical, getting these foreign breeds to India. And it is not totally suitable for India at all. But this leads to aggression. So that is why there are, they try to act. This has become a social status to buy dogs. That is where we are having an issue. And what happened with Mr. Satya is totally unacceptable. And it can never be measured because we might file a complaint, we might do hundreds of things, but what has happened to him can never be accepted by anyone. Because even I have a 1-year-old baby, and I feel so difficult, when mother is going through such a thing. It is very painful.
It's heart wrenching
So
completely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
so GBA has to actually come up with breeders thing also, because the total amount of money what Bangalore alone is spending to pet industry is around 50 to 1 crore easily just to buy dogs. So where is the accountability for all those
So,
things?
Anirudh, let me ask you this question. Then these laws that are likely to come in soon, are you welcoming it? Is this a welcome step? Is this a step in the right direction?
Definitely we welcome it, except for the number of pets, what they are talking about. I don't think that is possible, because a person like me, we adopt from the streets, and I personally, I can have around 10 dogs also. That shouldn't be a problem, as long as it is not a problem to any of us or any of my neighbors around. That is what I always say, being an animal welfarist. But you can't limit the number of dogs. But again, see, getting this on the papers is very easy, but implementation has always been difficult in Bangalore. Even with the ABC, we have wonderful ABC rules, everything to control stray dog population. But what happened with the implementation? Today, the whole India is actually fighting in Supreme Court for it. So that is the whole issue. Can we implement it? That is the problem. Be it with microchipping or licensing, how are we going to do that? So to
Right.
curb all those this, I think we need to have breeders' license, which has to be implemented at the most, at the earliest.
All right, Akanksha Chawla joins us. Akanksha, a lot of cases, you're an advocate, you are fighting cases. A lot of these cases that also come up in courts are not just associated with stray dog bites, but also pets, pet dog bites. Many times, these are also pets that have been let loose, that have been abandoned by their pet owners. That's also a very stark reality. It could be small dogs, it could be, you know, it could be just cases where they are fed up of taking care, they don't have means of taking care, or they're just done with that initial fascination. Because let's face the fact, to be able to take care of any pet takes effort, takes time, and takes a person being invested in it. Often that's what's really missing in today's times in terms of times. How would you look at what the GBA is trying to do? Does it serve its purpose?
Precisely. The same facts, they exist in this situation. If we see the video, that clearly shows that the owner knew it very well that his pet dog is one of the dangerous dog breed. And he knew it very well if there is no leash, no muzzle, and if that pet dog is left open in public area, so that could attack anyone, and that has the potential to cause grievous injury to that person. So knowing this with an intention, he opened the gate, and the dog went out without the leash, without the muzzle, and attacked that lady who is only 30 years old, young lady, and caused grievous injury to her. And we could see this all happened just because the dog didn't have any leash, no muzzle, and the owner being the owner of that pet. So there comes a responsibility as well with ownership, as in the owner needs to be responsible, needs to keep the dog with leash and muzzle. Had the safety precautions been taken on time, this incident would not have happened in the very first place. So this is a pure case of negligence and knowledge which led to such a heinous offense.
Right. In fact, Satya, if I can come to you at this point, Satya, somebody who has lived through this horror, what do you make out of how our cities handle strays and pets? There's so much which is spoken about ensuring safety, ensuring that the pets and the strays, they're controlled in a way. There's so much that's gone on in the Supreme Court. There's so much that's going on in the courts. Supreme Court has given a set of guidelines. States clearly are failing in following it up. How do you look at this as somebody who's lived through this horror?
Actually, honestly speaking, today it happens to my wife. Tomorrow it can happen to anyone, a child, a senior citizen, a pregnant woman. So public safety cannot depends on luck. This is my clear-cut stand. And honestly speaking, we are very law-abiding citizens. We are taxpayers. So the anyone, if they are having a knowledge of human rights, then definitely they should be answerable for the human duties. Correct. And honestly speaking, I'm totally speechless at this ground, because one person is not suffers in any family. Due to this incident, a happy family has become a horrible nightmares, horrible past experience. and I don't know how much time it will take to recover her mental status. And I respect law. I fully believe in the judiciary system, law and order. But that is my request for other pet owners also, that please, if you are having pet, you should be abide with all norms, all protocols. Otherwise, today I am suffering, my family is suffering. Might be next, no one knows who will suffer. So that's it from my side.
Right. I think we're totally out of time. But Satya Prakash, firstly, let me just deeply thank you for joining us. It's been such a painful experience for you, but you've been so measured in your outlook despite it all. Your messaging perhaps will stay with everybody, irrespective of which side of the spectrum they are, whether, you know, whichever side they are. I think everybody is going to listen to you very carefully. I think Bengaluru, governments across states, and the Supreme Court must listen to what you have to say, because these are words that will hit every heart very hard. Thank you so much, Satya Prakash, for taking your time out and joining us. Akanksha Chawla, thank you so much for joining us. Anirudh Ravindra, thank you very much for your very measured response. Thank you so much.